So Maya,
Yes.
year up. Okay, we're here. However, right now you have a job in Delaware. What are you doing?
So I work for JP Morgan Chase. I started at Chase about 2.5 years ago. Came through Europe, had an internship, got extended for a year with one team, got extended for another year with another team, and as of March 1st, I actually just converted over to FTE, so full-time employee.
Wow.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
so thank you.
Like March?
Thank you. Yes, like
this month?
This month, yep. So the top of this month, I just transitioned to a new team.
That's huge.
Yeah, so it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Very
What's the
big deal.
difference? How do you feel?
I feel good.
How long we got?
I feel a lot more stable because I just feel a lot more comfortable making certain decisions in my life. Like actually this Sunday, I'm moving into an apartment, my first apartment.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
This is huge.
Thank you. Yes. So it's been a big month for me. But back to the topic of comfortability, as a contractor, I knew that I was guaranteed my job for this year or for that year. In my experience, I always got kept a little bit longer so that I could look for a new opportunity or dive into a new opportunity. But the stability just wasn't there. I wasn't comfortable making certain big decisions because I didn't know if, yes, I'm making good money right now and I can cover these bills right now. But if today or tomorrow something happens and they decide not to retain me, then what? I've always been, then what?
You've always been thinking steps ahead.
Trying to.
So now, was that where you were before you heard about Year Up?
I feel like there are certain characteristics that I've always had. I've always been kind of like future focused, but Year Up really helped me put the plan behind those types of things or understanding, okay, instead of just thinking, then what, preparing for that.
Understand.
You know what I mean? So making sure
you're able to think ahead and then you prepare.
But in a more logical manner, you know what I mean? And understanding what it takes to be stable and what it takes to, have a certain level of comfort to make certain decisions. And job security is one of those big things. And I can't thank Gear Up enough for the opportunity to like really establish the foundation that I have now, because now I have my ace in the hole.
Yeah.
Essentially, I could work at Chase for 5, 10, 15, 20 years if I wanted to, So I have my ace in the hole, and that allows me some mental capacity to be able to focus on other things that I didn't have that mental capacity to think about before because I was so focused on foundation, stability.
Just building the foundation again and again.
Exactly.
That's powerful.
Exactly.
What did that program look like? Well, the Year Up program, right? Like the first 3 months, you seem like someone that really has some ideas of her own. I could just feel it, all right? We align there.
Right.
What was the first 3 months? Was it a culture shock?
In a way, but more so not a culture shock in regard to work or in regard to education, but more so discipline. That's really, I feel like, the piece that I was missing prior to coming to Europe. I had great ideas, you know what I mean? And I had work ethic, but I didn't really have discipline. Like, prior to Europe, I was working 2 jobs, and I was working at least 60 hours a week in the same parking lot. So I would work from 6 to 10 in the deli of a supermarket, and then I would work 10 to 4 at the sneaker store across the parking lot, and then I would come back and I would work 4 to 8 in the hot food section of the supermarket. So, like, I always had a grind. I always had the work ethic. You know what I mean?
So 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., basically? That's a long day.
Yeah. But I felt like I was like, I need money. I need money so that I can execute. But I was exerting so much energy just to make the bare minimum. You know what I mean? Just to take a pinch off of the things that I really wanted to do. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I feel like I'm working backwards. I'm putting in all this time and I'm putting in all this effort, and by the time my day off comes, I'm too tired to execute, you know what I mean, against my goals.
On those goals.
Exactly.
What's your advice to someone that's watching this that's in the exact same position?
Got to strike a balance. You can't have it all. You just can't. It's just no way. You've got 2 hands, you know what I mean? And so you can literally and figuratively grasp like 2 things at a time. So you can't have it all. So you have to make a decision at some point as to, is the energy that I'm investing equal to the outcome? You know what I mean? Or is the energy that I'm investing greater than the outcome or less than? You have to kind of do that equation of where can I strike a balance?
Wow.
Because working 60 hours a week, I was making okay money, but I had to exert so much energy in order to get it. You know what I mean? So that once it came time for me, when I had the time to execute on those goals, like I said, I was too tired.
Wow.
I just wanted to rest. I just wanted to recuperate. Whereas now I work a 40-hour week straight. And my weekends belong to me. I can do what I want to do. I can make music. I can go to concerts. I can essentially do what I want to do. And I have financial stability as well. So it took a lot of sacrifice, the good 3 years to really get to where I'm at right now. But I would have spent that 3 years doing something anyway. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I feel like the biggest thing is I invested my energy more wisely. I invested my energy into something that I knew was going to push me forward in the long run. And yes, it took a lot of sacrifice on the front end, but on the back end, I'm in a much better space. It's totally worth it. Totally worth it.
3 years was in and around Europe,
yep.
Training to work smarter, not harder.
Yep. So I spent 6 months in L&D, so learning and development, and then I spent 6 months interning with Chase, and then so that was a year there. Invested in Europe, and then I've invested about 2.5 years into Chase in addition to that, but building on the principles that I first really kind of ingrained in myself through Europe.
What are those? What are those principles?
Hard work, dedication, have fun with it, discipline, most definitely discipline, even down to the point system, accountability, I really feel like is the biggest thing, and me being accountable for it. I know where I'm at today is because of the work that I put in, or the effort that I put in, or the lack thereof. I'm not blaming my position or trying to put my position on the actions of other people, because my mom didn't do this, or because my dad didn't do this, or because I didn't have this opportunity. I kind of changed my mentality to I can do whatever, you know what I mean? But I have to be accountable for myself. If I want to get somewhere, I have to say, okay, I'm going to take myself there. I can't be dependent on others or other circumstance necessarily. You know what I mean? I have to be accountable for where I'm trying to go, and I think that those two things, discipline and accountability, have taken me super far.
Wow.
Super
it sounds like congratulations.
Thank
all these
you.
amazing things are happening.
Yeah.
Now, your hobby or a passion project, is that music?
Music, yeah, passion.
And that wasn't a part of your life as much, or correct me if I'm wrong, when you were working so hard.
To an extent, but once again, I didn't have that balance, I didn't have that discipline, so I'm a great writer. Anybody that's ever heard anything I've written, whether it be poetry or music.
I love that.
Definitely a fan. But I didn't have the discipline in my music either. I wasn't writing consistently. Just like you have to clock in and clock out at a job and you have to put in those 10,000 hours, I didn't have the discipline to put that time in to say, okay, I'm going to write for 2 hours a day, every day, no matter what. Or I'm going to, make sure that I book studio time, twice a month, no matter what. I'm putting this money to the side for that, and I'm meeting these deadlines. I need to have this written by then. I didn't have that discipline. So, yeah, I was doing things, but, I was kind of here, there, and everywhere. I didn't have a clear trajectory. I had all the inspiration. I had all the tools that I needed, but I didn't know how to use them. Now I feel like I know how to really use my tools a lot better and to my benefit.
Wow. I'm speechless. I love it. I'm inspired.
You. Yeah, that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah.
To inspire.
So 2 years from now, what are you going to say to you now? What's the, right? Where?
We came a long way.
You
but
think
we still
big.
I do, because I'm grateful for where I am right now. My big thing is, gratitude, but not complacency. You know what I mean? I'm very grateful for where I am in my life right now, for the people I have in my life, the things that I have in my life. But I'm not complacent. This is not all I want out of life.
You're still
this is
striving.
Exactly. There's still many things I want to do. I'm trying to buy a house so that I can, and not just a single family home, but a duplex or a triplex or a mixed use property.
Well, they have some real estate people come in and talk about that.
That would be good.
You heard about that?
That would be good. I haven't, but I'm definitely interested in that. Because, so that I can have dwelling, but then I can also generate income.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that will allow me more flexibility in my life. You know what I mean? To be able to say, oh, well, those bills are taken care of. I don't have to exert any more energy to pay these bills. Now I have energy I can invest elsewhere. You know what I mean?
Now, did you think about these things before you're up? But however, it added
to a degree.
Okay.
But not in depth. Not I don't want to say logically, because I like to think that I'm a pretty logical person, but just not in depth. I didn't write out the steps. Okay, this is what I want to do, but what steps do I have to take to get there?
Wow.
You know what I mean? And so now I feel a lot more, I understand cause and effect more. Okay, this is the amount of energy I'm going to have to put in, and this is the amount of time that I'm going to say it's going to take me, and I'm going to build a budget, and I'm going to build a timeline. And even if I give myself a little bit of wiggle room, I'm going to do my best to stick to it, so that I know every day or every week or every month I'm making some sort of progress towards that larger goal. You know what I mean?
And that was through Year Up?
I say partially. I think, like I said, those two big things, really just accountability and discipline, and just understanding that, there are certain things you have to do. You can't skip the hard work part. You just can't. There's no...
you have that in you.
I think so. But I feel like Europe really enriched that principle. You know what I mean? You can't skip the hard part. And in all honesty, I wouldn't want to skip the hard part, because I feel like there's, like you kind of said earlier, there's a lot in the struggle. There's a lot of benefit in the struggle. You know what I mean? There's a lot of wealth,
creativity,
of knowledge, exactly, in grinding through something and not having it handed to you, but working hard for it and kind of figuring out yourself. And like even in corporate America, to be quite honest, I finessed my way to my job, but that's because I knew what I had to do to get it. And I don't have a bachelor's degree. I don't even have an associate's degree, but I'm competent enough to look at my surroundings and say, okay, this is what they want, and this is what I want. So what do I have to do? What do I have to learn? Who do I have to talk to get my foot in that door? Because once my foot is in the door, that's my opportunity, and that's all I ever wanted was opportunity. Because once my foot is in the door, I'm good.
That's powerful, because what I do understand is that a lot of the focus is on soft skills. Mm-hmm. So if you have that big picture point of view, where you say, what are they looking for? Mm-hmm. You can finesse your way into that by solving a problem.
And like I said, we can't skip that hard work part, but I've learned how to work smarter, not harder.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I think that's really where the gold was, and everything is understanding how to utilize what I have to get what I want, versus trying to pull this down or trying to pull this from over here. Okay, take stock of what I have, take stock of, what it takes to get where I'm trying to be, and say, okay, well, I need these 5 things, and right now I've got these 3. So what can I do with these 3 until I get the other 2? You know what I mean? Just really trying to leverage your tools as best as possible, at least until you attain other tools to be able to help you as well. But in the meantime, making the most of what you have.
If you were watching this 4 years ago, what would you tell yourself in a sentence?
Keep at it. Keep at it. That's all. Because if you quit today, this is where you're going to be.
I love it.
You know what I mean? So you just got to keep at it. You're going to lose, and you're going to falter, and you're going to make mistakes and things like that. But if you stop right here, right now, then that's it.
What's one word to describe Year Up?
Powerful.
Like you.
Powerful, yeah.
Thank you for this. This is amazing. They're awesome.
I try.
Yeah.
I try. A lot of people help me out, though.